Alright, hey guys, we are back again with another review, and today we are going to be taking a look at one of the kits I've been looking forward to most this month, if not this entire year, and this is the HG Gundam G40 or 40th. Now this is the G40 because next year in 2020, that marks the 40th anniversary of Gunpla, Gundam plastic models. The original Gundam plastic model kit was released in 1980, which actually also happens to be the same year that I was born. So I share a birthday with Gunpla, which is kind of a cool factoid for me. But also this year in 2019, it is the 40th anniversary of the Gundam itself. The entire animated series, the first original Gundam series, aired in 1979. So we had the anime series first, then a year later Bandai came out with the first plastic models, and 40 years later, here we are. They continue to produce the models. All right, so unfortunately, also, I want to note right off the bat that unfortunately, this kit was quite limited in its release. So if you were not able to pre-order one in that first batch, unfortunately, that's just how it was. But even though that first batch was limited, I do have a hunch that you guys will be able to buy this kit in some form at some point in the future. Now you might ask why do I think so, or why do I have such an idea that that might be the case when other kind of Bandai stuff, especially in their the toy lineup, after those kits are released, they never produce them again. But Hobby doesn't really have that. Usually the Bandai Hobby division stuff, since the plastic parts are made here in Japan, unlike the figure stuff, the collectible figure stuff, they do have the ability to produce more of these at any point. Now, one of the things that makes this kit so limited, at least I feel, is going to be the box that this kit comes with. Let me squeeze this in the back so you can see it here. And maybe, actually, let's just move the Gundam off to the side for a bit so we can take a better look at this box. This is a really, really fancy box. This is one of the most fanciest Gunpla boxes that I have ever seen for a release. Now you can see here, this box comes in a really nice satin black finish, which is really, really fancy. And not only that, but this G40 release has the G40 lettering in a silver, metallic silver, and it's embossed as well. So it's a bit raised up off of the box there, which makes it really, really, really fancy. And on the sides as well, it has that same embossed silver metallic writing on the side here. Let's take a look at this side. So, of course, we get Japanese text as well as English text. If you want to pause the video, you can read what it says there. So you get a nice look at the kit, and we'll talk about the design of the kit in a bit here. And the other side of the box, this G40 is not embossed, it's just plain white paper, and all the information noting that this kit is intended for ages 8 and up, and the barcode and all that fancy jazz. So not only do you get this fancy box in this edition of the kit, but you also get one other thing which makes me believe that only this edition is going to be limited, and they'll probably have another less limited edition version probably released next year when it's the 40th anniversary of Gunpla itself. But actually now it's December, so this year is almost over, so not much time left for them to release a lot of stuff here. So this edition of the kit also comes with this included booklet about the G40th series. Now this booklet talks about a lot of stuff. We got a little bit of kind of some of the history of Gundam, and it goes into talking a lot about the designer of the kit, another person that works for that design studio. We'll talk about the designer more in a bit here, as well as just some other information about Gundam. Now we're getting into information about the Bandai Hobby division itself. And one nice thing about this booklet as well is it does have both the Japanese and the English text in it. So you can actually read it as long as you understand either Japanese or English. And if you don't understand one of those two languages, I do have to question why you are probably watching this video. So quite a cool booklet. It's not a very large booklet. This is cool. You can see a kind of some different concepts they came up with when designing the G40th Gundam here. I kind of like the look of that bulky one there, so that's kind of cool, but they ended up settling for this design here, which is what you see in the kit, and then they go on to some of the other design information, more of the 3D images. You get some stuff about the weapon and in the cockpit. This is an HG kit, so there is no actual cockpit detail. And then you get some information about the kit itself, and there it is, their built sample. They have a picture of it in this booklet as well as this booklet includes the color guide for this kit. So if you want to paint the kit, here is your color guide. They do not give any Tamiya or Krios color, or like, what would you say, the paint numbers for those. They only just give the colors and the percentage, the mix percentage. So you'd have to mix these paints if you wanted to get the correct colors that they actually list there. And some more information about the G40 special movie. So I guess that will be coming out at some point. It says, notice the contrast between the depiction of the Gundam and the Zaku 2. So we're probably going to get a Zaku 2, a new restyled Zaku 2 from this G40 series as well. So that's kind of cool. And then it also talks here about next year in 2020, they're going to have the 1/1 scale Gundam Factory Yokohama down there in Yokohama. And I believe this new one that they are building is going to actually be able to walk and move. So that is going to be quite awesome to see. I do think me and Dave probably will head down there next year and check it out once they get that thing moving around. Hopefully, we will see. So that's kind of it for this booklet as well as the box. Now, okay, so this release has this fancy box and the booklet, but one thing to also consider is that 10 years ago, Bandai released another version of the RX78 to mark the 30th anniversary of Gunpla. And that kit did indeed also have a G30th boxing, although the box for that kit, I have one in my stash somewhere at home. I didn't bother to try and dig that one out. But that one also had a G30th box for it. Not as fancy as this one, but the G30th HG kit, even to this day, continues to be available for sale. Now, not in a G30th type of boxing, but the G30th kit is still available, although it is currently back ordered on the site, so I'm not sure when they will actually do another production run of this, but the G30th Gundam continues to be available as part of this Gunpla starter set. So the Gunpla starter set, and here you can see here the G30th Gundam. Now, the G30th Gundam was quite cool. Unfortunately, I don't think we can get a good image of that here. You can kind of see the design there. It looks quite a lot like the real grade kit, although it is HG kit, so it's not quite as detailed, but it's very similar design style to what we get in the real grade kit, I have to say. Maybe, Dave, if you are nice enough, I can get you to insert a better image of this G30th kit into this video somewhere up here. And if Dave does not insert that image, please everybody call him out in the comments. He loves when everybody calls him out in the comments. Just wanted to mention that. All right, so let's go ahead and move this kit back and actually start to talk about the G40th kit itself. So now this kit, we'll just start off by talking about the design. And as it mentioned in that booklet there, I wanted to skip over that for a second. And it mentions that in the cover and the front of the box and the manual, this booklet as well. And I believe this is the first time I have ever seen a Gundam kit mention the designer about it, like on the packaging itself. So this G40th kit was not designed by Bandai themselves, but rather they brought in a really famous design studio, and this is Ken Okuyama Design. Now, if you do not know this name, I won't blame you. But Ken Okuyama, he became famous because he was a designer for Pininfarina, I believe it was, and Ferrari. So he was the one that designed the very famous Ferrari Enzo. Now, Dave, if I can get you to insert an image of the Ferrari Enzo into this video up here as well, so everybody can see that beautiful car. Now, that car came out, gosh, how long ago has it been since the Enzo came out? It's been at least 15 years, I think, so it's been quite a while, but that car it's really stunning. It's a really beautiful car. To me, it does a really nice model for that as well, which is available for order on our site. So there's a couple of different Ken Okuyama Design products now available for order on HLJ.com. Just wanted to throw that one in there. But yes, so Ken Okuyama Design, although I don't think Ken Okuyama himself probably designed this kit. So he runs the studio, and he's got a lot of other designers, such as this guy, which is Yuya Koyanagi. So he probably had a bigger hand in designing this kit than the man himself. There he is, Ken Okuyama, looking rather dandy there. So Ken Okuyama was brought in, his design studio was brought in to design this kit. And they had, Bandai probably, I'm not sure because I'm not Bandai, but Bandai told them to do their take on what they think an RX-78 should look like. And it does resemble an RX-78, although the design is quite different than what a lot of people expect when they think of the RX-78. So I've seen a lot of criticism out there that they kind of are not too much of a fan of the roundedness of this new design compared to the original RX-78. So there is that. I think it's a unique design, I have to say. I personally don't hate the design, although to be honest, as somebody that does like the RX-78, it's probably not I'm probably more of a traditional. I do kind of prefer that traditionalist RX-78 design, but I still think this is quite a pleasing kit to look at. And now this is an HG kit. Now I've heard rumors that there might be a master grade in the works. I have no idea for certain, but that's just something that's been going around on the web lately, so we'll have to see. So maybe once we get to see this kit in a bigger form factor with more panel lining to it, it might grow. It might grow on us. We'll have to see. We shall have to see indeed. So, all right, so since we're talking about this kit compared to the other RX-78 kits, I did bring a couple other kits in here to give us a nice comparison. So this one I am holding right here. Now this is the recent HG Revive release, which just came out, gosh, was it 2 years ago or so? So this was the last time they released an HG RX-78. Let me go ahead and turn off this turntable for a second here so I can get these guys lined up so you can see the comparison here. So in HG size, at least, this is, there we go, the Revive version next to the G40th. So you can really see the differences between these two. Big difference in the design of the feet, a lot of other notable design differences. The chest area, the helmet, there's quite a difference there as well. The shield, now the original Gundam RX-78 has the yellow kind of cross there, but we have a white version on the G40th version, as well as, let's bring these guys up a bit closer so you can probably get a nice, more detailed, closer view of these two. So you can just notice all the differences there yourself. And let's turn them around so we can take a look at the backs of these two guys. Quite interesting, I have to say. Quite cool. Now I did bring in one more. So these are two examples of the RX-78 in 1/144th scale, but there is one more, and the other one that I'm about to bring is going to be, this one is actually my favorite design for this scale in the RX-78, and that is going to, of course, be the real grade kit. So the real grade RX-78, which was the first kit released in the real grade lineup. Now this one it matches more with that G30th design because they were released around the same time there as well. Maybe I'll move this guy off to the side for a second here so we can compare the real grade to the G40th. So, of course, the real grade, this one has got a lot of the stickers already applied to it, so it looks quite a lot more detailed. And being real grade, of course, you've just got a lot of that color separation going on, as well as a lot more details there. So, really, I mean, I love, as far as 1/144th scale goes, that real grade kit is the creme de la creme, just the best available of the RX78 and 1/144 scale. I just have to mention that. It's still available for order on our site, so if you did miss out on the G40th, hey, if you don't have the RX78 and 1/144 scale, the real grade is always available. But I do have a feeling we'll be able to order this one in the future in a different boxing. So we'll just have to wait and see. Nothing has been announced yet, so we'll just have to see, shall we? So there we go. So yeah, quite a big difference, I have to say, between the real grade and the G40th. Looking quite nicely detailed there in that real grade, isn't it? I'm just going to keep gushing about that real grade, so I should probably take it off. I'm actually missing a few parts on this kit. It's survived a few earthquakes now, and some parts have been or have fallen off, or who knows where at this point. But probably sitting in the bottom of a box somewhere. So, all right. So let's get into actually talking about the G40th itself. So we'll say goodbye to these guys for now. Maybe if our photographer is nice, whoever ends up taking pictures of this kit, we can get a nice family photo of these kits down below in the photo section of our hobbylink.tv blog. All right, so, oh boy, this is kind of getting to be a bit of a long video. So let's start finally talking about the kit itself. So I'm not going to mention anything more about the design, and let's get into a lot of the details about the kit. So this kit, one thing I really liked about this kit was that it also has, for an HG kit, it does a really good job of having different parts molded in different colors. You can see the small yellow pieces here on the knees, as well as under the knee there as well. Now the feet, we do get, that's something else cool. So unlike the original Revive RX78, the feet are just molded in kind of one color, and not only that, but you get these open spaces, which is unfortunately just one of the side effects of some of the cheaper Gundam kits. They kind of just leave those open spaces there. But this one, we have a separate color for the bottom of the feet. So you get black for the underneath of the feet, and you get the red there on the side. Now the color of this white, the white color for this kit is not pure white like you kind of more get in the real grade here. You can kind of see that different. It's more of a cream style white to it, similar to that Revive there. And let's see, we also get, so the helmet, you get the chin there, the bottom of the chin, that's actually a plastic part, as well as this slice of the gray plastic is peeking through there on the side of the helmet. That's quite cool. I really wish they had done that on the Revive version. Unfortunately, that's just solid white on the Revive version, so that looks quite nice. Now the eyes, unlike the real grade kit, now the eyes on this G40th kit, that is actually going to be a sticker, I'm sad to say. So here we can actually take a look at the sticker sheet that comes included with this kit. You have the choice, I went with the standard yellow style eyes, but you also have a choice of going with pink colored eyes if you would like to do that. Now, you'll notice there are two other stickers on this kit as well, so you can see right away where that other one is on the helmet here, that long pink line here. This is kind of a new design feature for the G40th, is that pink line there down the center of the helmet. And the other sticker, now this is actually the last sticker. I was not a big fan of it. It looks okay once it's on, but that is going to be here on the crotch. You get that little V mark with the yellow thing there. Now on the real grade kit, now this was actually a separate plastic part. It was not a sticker, so they sandwiched those two together to make that look. And on the Revive kit, they actually, I don't think they even included a sticker for it, or maybe I just forgot to put it on. I don't remember. It's been such a while since I built this guy. But yeah, this one here just was one solid color on that crotch area there. So but you do get a sticker for that. It looks okay, but it's decent. We'll just leave it at that. All right, so we'll take a look at the weapons before I get into the articulation. This kit's got some crazy articulation. Now the rifle for this kit, this is actually a pretty decent rifle, I have to say. I'm going to go ahead and just pop his whole hand off there so I can take a better look at this rifle. So this rifle, it does have articulation here for that, what would that even be? I'm not sure. As well as articulation for the scope. It can move from side to side. Now you'll notice also the yellow piece here, that is not a sticker or a gold sticker like we see in a lot of other kits, but that is actually a yellow plastic piece that you sandwich on in there. So that is quite cool. I think this rifle's got some pretty nice details for it, even though it is an HG kit. So that is always nice to see. This has got to be one of the better rifles I've seen included for an HG kit. Looks quite awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and maybe plug this back in here. Then we can take a look at the shield. We'll just start off with all the weapons and the shields and whatnot. So the shield does have a handle here. So it does have a handle here which can slide up and down, as well as a handle here which can pull out if you want to handle, or if you want to hold it in different angles there. Now this piece here also flips up if you want to attach it onto the back of the unit. So there should be a slot there on his backpack, and you can plug in the shield to his back if you would like to display it that way. Or if you would like to have it on his arm like I had it earlier, you just flip this in the down position, and you will need to make sure that this is kind of more slid up towards the top, so that way he'll be able to plug the peg into his hand slot, as well as the extra support slot for the arm there. All right, so let's get into talking about a lot of the different articulation things that they've built into this kit. Now, since I am holding this hand here, actually maybe I'm going to start off by talking about the hand. So one kind of cool feature here for the hand is this wrist here. Now the hands themselves, there is no articulation, but the wrist kind of has a bit of a nice kind of an extra joint there. So usually on a Gundam hand, you just get that one solid ball joint that goes into the wrist area, and not a whole lot of articulation that you can do with those. But this one, since it's got that extra joint built onto the end of the wrist there, as well as the ball joint, you can get some really nice crazy poses for these hands. So that is, there we can even see it, you can get it to go forward and backs because of that. So that is quite cool. It's quite a nice design, I have to say. All right, so as I usually do, I'm going to go ahead and start down with the feet and just work our way up and see what kind of different things that we get for this kit. So now here we have the feet. Now this foot, unlike the Revive, which is just a one-piece solid thing that you can't really do much with, now this kit has not just one, not just two, but three different joints here in the foot itself. So you can see there that front toe has a movement to it, as well as that center section from the heel. So look at that. That is quite nice, I have to say. Now the ball joint as well, that connects the foot to the heel, you're able to get it to move like that way or that way, as well as down. So just look at that movement. This is really quite stunning. We're just here at the foot itself, so that is quite an impressive range of movement for the foot. Now this leg, of course, you get your standard kind of double jointed knee there, which is able to go up quite an impressive, go up at quite an impressive angle. But there's also one more joint here on the leg below the knee, and that's going to be right here. And this twists a little bit here, so you can get a bit more range of movement just on this lower part of the leg itself. So I can't recall a previous Gundam kit having an extra joint below the knee but above the ankle. So this is the first time, at least, that I can recall seeing this joint here. So that is quite impressive. Now there's actually a whole nother joint here on this leg that I don't recall ever seeing on another Gundam kit, and that's going to be right here up at the hip. So of course you get your standard hip joint up there, although it's not standard at all. But there's one more joint here on this leg itself. Now you kind of saw it move out there forward, and there you can see it here. So this kind of block has a separate articulated joint from the leg itself, and that's going to allow you to really be able to move this up. Just look at that impressive range of movement there, just getting this leg to pose forward. So let's try to go back. So there you have that. So that's kind of cool to see that extra bit of movement that you can do there with this leg, and it just slides on up and kind of locks into position when you're not needing to use that range of that extra movement there. Now the foot as well, I didn't mention that, but this front part, it does kind of, now I don't think you'll be able to hear it, but it does kind of lock into place when you're not needing to use that extra toe movement. You can just lock it down there, as well as the kind of the foot guard here. There is a joint on that, so it does have a bit of flexibility there for that. So let's get into the hip now. So the hip, so one thing I wanted to mention also is that unlike a lot of other Gundam kits, the side skirts and the front skirts on this kit don't move. They're kind of molded into place, but that's okay because they are able to get this hip joint. There's a really fancy hip joint on this kit, and I want to maybe see if I can take this apart so I can kind of better display off that hip joint that's included with this kit here. But without that, let's kind of see what kind of range of movement we get with those side skirts included. Let's see, can we do the full splits here? There we go. So yeah, there we go. All right, so we are able to do the full splits on this kit, and the reason we are able to do that, even though we're not able to move those side skirts or front skirts at all, is because this fancy hip joint that comes included with this kit. Maybe if I can pull this leg out. There we go. So we can take a better look at this hip joint that comes included with this kit. So you can see there that, and actually even though I'm moving this other leg, it's not moving that joint on the other side because these two legs have separate joints on the inside there of that waist unit. So that is quite cool. So you're able to pose these legs independently from each other. So that is quite cool. You can see there it's got this little joint that moves down and up or down, as well as the hip itself has a joint in there as well. So to be able to do those splits, I had to kind of pull this entire lower hip joint down, and then I was able to kind of expose this part so that way the legs could clear these side skirts and the front and back skirts and be able to do the split. So you're able to get that entire unit goes up, as well as the legs themselves have a whole nother joint on there. So quite a huge range of movement that you're able to do for this kit. As far as the legs, just the legs alone, you have that kind of huge range of movement. All right, so let's keep moving on up with this kit. So we're going to go up next to the torso of this kit. Now this kit had, at least for an HG kit, probably one of the fanciest kind of torso designs that I've ever seen on a kit of this size, and it has just a huge range of movements that you are able to do just in the torso itself. Now, maybe one slight gripe that I do have with this kit is this center red section here. It's not like clipped or attached to anything in place. Now, they needed to do that in order to be able to allow the kit to have such a range of movement there in that center section. But it does kind of just floppily sit in there. So I'm not a huge fan of that. It kind of makes a clanky, plasticky type of noise whenever it's just loosely kind of floating around in there. But normally when you just have this guy kind of standing on your desk or wherever, you're not going to have to worry about that. So just something that I kind of just have a tiny slight gripe with, I have to say. Maybe, let me see if I can pull this joint out there. So we're going to connect, I'm going to separate this guy for a second here, just so I can better display off this joint that they have in the center section of this kit. So you can see that here. That's kind of a cool looking joint, and this is what's going to allow him to have such nice waist movement here, is this fancy joint in the inside. And you can see here that it's able to actually kind of twist, not just like go forward or to the side, but actually kind of have a nice twist movement. Now this is actually going to really mimic what a real type of hip movement a real person would have, and we're able to see that now in plastic form. So that is quite a fancy feature, I have to say. Now, of course, when the kit is actually connected itself, you're probably not going to be able to see such a huge range of movement, but still, it is quite cool, I have to say. So let's go ahead and put this back on, and let me go ahead and connect his torso back together here. Whoop. Got that snap together. Okay, so I think hopefully I've got him all back together, and that was quite simple and easy to do. All right, so let's go on to the head now. So this head also has a lot more flexibility than you're normally going to see as for a head in HG scale. So at the base here, the base where the head connects to the chest, now that has a joint itself, so you're going to be able to get a nice up and down movement just from that joint itself. But then the neck as well has like a nice kind of double joint to it. So as far as heads go, this is quite a nice range of movement. Now, let me maybe pop that head off so you can kind of see the connector that we are working with here for this neck. So you've got a joint here. This is going to allow it to go side to side, as well as on the head. It's on the underneath of the head itself. There's another joint there that's going to allow it to go front and back. So you got front and back, or back and forward, I guess, when he would actually be attached. So not only could this bottom piece here move like up and down and side, left to right here with that joint, and then we get another joint here in the head itself. So this kind of like 3 different joints just for the head itself. Okay, so now we're going to move on over to the arm. So the arm also has a kind of a nice crazy design to it. Take a look at that shoulder there. You can kind of slide this one in and out, as well as up and down. So kind of go back and forward, up and down, and you get a kind of a standard, whoops, get that on camera there, standard. You have the ability to kind of twist this part around. Now, like we saw here at the leg with this extra joint between the knee and the ankle, the arm also, well, let's show off, it does have that standard kind of a double jointed elbow, and of course the wrist joint, which I showed off earlier, but it has another joint here as well on the between the elbow and the wrist, so that mimics the leg. It's going to give you an extra bit of movement in there. All right, so now the arms, I think that's, gosh, a lot, quite a bit. So kind of cool that we can kind of pull that piece up there as well and get that arm to really stretch up forward. So I've never seen a Gundam be able to pull off moves like this ever before in my life. Bandai really did a crazy impressive job for the articulation on this HG kit. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of this technology, this articulation that they've designed for this G40th kit. I'm hoping we're going to see a lot of this design move into other parts, other HG kits at some point, just to be able to give them some crazy bits of articulation as well. So that is my goal. So let's take a look here at the back. I don't think I've mentioned the backpack at all yet to this point. So on the backpack here, let's go ahead and put his arm back now. That was quite easy to do. Another thing I did want to mention actually about this kit is there was absolutely no polycaps included at all. So this was just a straight plastic kit with no polycaps. And it is quite sturdy. So I'm just holding the leg itself, and it is able to support the weight without just kind of loosely falling apart. So that is quite, especially when you have a kit with so much articulation, I think that is really important to have a kit that is a bit more stiff than what a polycap is going to be able to provide you. So you're going to actually be able to pose it and have the kit hold in those poses. So that is just an important feature. Oh my goodness, I feel embarrassed here. I just noticed, I'm going to point it out so you can all laugh at me. I completely missed this nub on there. I feel so embarrassed. I'll have to cut that one off after this review. I don't know how I missed that. Oh my goodness. Golly gee. All right, so let's take a look at the backpack here. Backpack, we have the beam sabers. Now, usually on a RX78, one of the key design features is the beam sabers is in the up position, which you can do for this kit as well. But for some reason on the design of this kit, whenever they show it off, we'll show it off on the box here, they always have them in the down position. So I'm just following that design and just leaving them down in that down position. Whoops, let's pop that one back in. Now the thrusters also have the ability to move out there. And I believe, so we have that joint there, as well as a kind of separate joint on here as well. So you can move them out, and then they can also move up a bit more as well. So that's kind of cool. We get extra articulation on the thrusters there as well. Whoa, I'm losing my beam saber. Actually, that's okay. I'll go ahead and pull that one off here so that I can indeed show off that this kit does come with what everybody's been waiting for me to finally get to here. Yes, it does include 2 clear red beam sabers. Yay! All right, so that is of course included. Let's go ahead and pop this guy back on here, and maybe I'm going to go ahead and pop his hand back on there so we can get him looking all pretty there on our display base here. Let's see if I get him to stand. Now I've been moving around all his parts, so of course he's going to be not quite balanced at the moment. Work with me here. There we go. Get him. Stand. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring back my other 2 RX78 1144 scale kits and put them here on the back so I can finish this review with a nice group shot of all the kits in the different kits that we have, or that I've built and brought in for review. All right, so closing thoughts. All right, so the design for the G40th kit might not be for everybody. I can see that. I mean, a lot of people like the more traditional standard look of the RX78, and that's fine. You always have the option to buy either the Revive or the real grade kit, and we've gotten so many different variations of the RX78 that the G40th kit is not going to be the last one that we see in 1144 scale. I'm sure we're going to continue to get plenty more. In 10 years from now, actually 10 years from now, it's going to be, this is the 40th anniversary. You would think 10 years from now, you're going to have the 50th anniversary. So the 50th anniversary, who knows? Bandai hopefully is going to come out with something a lot more crazier than this, and that is going to be quite exciting to see. I hope they do. We got a G30th kit, we got the G40th kit. We'll have to see. So, yes, unfortunately, also I just want to mention again, unfortunately, this kit was quite limited in this initial release, but like we saw for the G30th kit, that it does still continue to be available as part of a different style boxing. So I have a feeling that we're going to see this kit in more different boxings, but unfortunately no information about that at this time. Okay, so there we have it. I think there is kind of slightly one thing that I did forget to mention. So I have the the hands for gripping the shield equipped onto it at this point, but it does also include 2 kind of open jazz hands as well as another kind of closed fist hand, because the one I have equipped is actually for the gun. So it has a finger for the trigger there. All right, so this video has gotten quite long, but even though it is just an HG kit, there's just so much to talk about. So thank you everyone out there for watching, and also if you are watching this here at the end of 2019, HobbyLink Japan, we are currently running a poll of what you guys think was your favorite HG real grade and master grade kits of the year. So if you haven't voted, head on over to that poll. We'll throw a link in for that poll here at the bottom of this video so you can get to that. So put your vote in for which kit you think which 3 kits you think were best for the year. Now this might be a contender. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of people are going to be able to build this kit this year, so might not get a whole lot of votes unless you're just voting by what you see in this video or any of the other videos that you see out there for this kit. So thank you everybody for watching, and we'll be back next week with the Master Grade Barbatos, which is releasing a bit later here in Japan than it seems than the rest of the world. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching and have a great week.